When you're a child, all you want is to learn how to walk. When I was 17, all I wanted to do is learn how to drive. When I was 23, I wanted to learn how to get a job in entertainment. And when I was 34, I went freelancing, and all I wanted to know is how can I be useful to the market and make some money as a freelancer. At 49, I've learned to ask better questions. You see, the questions I was asking were keeping me at the ground level. At the ground level, you have tactics. And these tactics, for instance, when we talk about communication, is how do I pitch? Or how do I do great slides? How do I present? A level above that, 10,000 feet for a founder, communication looks like, what am I doing? What are the activities that am I talking on stage? Am I advertising? One level above that, at 20,000 feet, that looks like channels. So am I on Meta or am I on YouTube? And for all of these questions, there is a how-to video. As a matter of fact, I have some how-to videos, even in this channel, to answer these questions. These are not great questions. These are questions that create the craft, but they don't help you with the strategy. What camera are you using? This is a question that beginner YouTubers always ask. The answer is, it doesn't matter, the one that works reliably. So at 30,000 feet, we find a better question. What's the story? What's my messaging like? Okay, here I get to start asking what questions. At 40,000 feet, there's an even more interesting level, which is, what is the brand and what are the values of the brand? Now, the further high I go, the further up I am, the easier it is to answer the questions below. Once I know my brand values, I know exactly how to communicate. Case in point, I was in Berlin. I wanted to go to the Nike store. There was a giant wrap around the Nike store that says, just do it. We're just renovating. And I thought, how fitting, it works. The messaging and the alignment of the brand values works so well that it works even if they're under construction and they're telling you, thumbs down, you don't get to enter the store. And for a brand manager at Nike, in order to answer the question, what channel, what should we do, how should we do it, it all goes back to the alignment of the brand values. But if you are a founder, not just a brand manager, you can get one level higher and you can stay at the vision and mission level. Now, this is really a gift, and especially as you're starting a company, if you get this right, is just a pleasure. And you have complete power. And when the vision is clear, right? When you know what you stand for with this new project, with this new company, all of the rest becomes easier. And so these what questions are a game changer. But this is not what I wanted to tell you today, because there's something way more interesting that as you progress from how-to questions to what questions, you don't go up another 10,000 feet. You go up 100 to 100,000 feet. And at 100,000 feet, guess who you find? You. Your energy, the way you show up, your vibe, who you truly are. Let me give you an example to make it super clear. So a few years ago, a client approaches me and she says, you know what? I need to be more confident because I need to persuade my boss. And I say, okay, are you ready to become a confident person? So are you ready to change as a person to become a confident person? And she goes, I could even be ready for that. But my boss is not confident. And my boss's boss is not confident. And the board is not confident. So if I become confident, I break the whole organization. So can you give me some tips and some tricks so that I can just get by without changing? This is a problem of organizations. I think founders don't have this problem, and this is why a lot of us are solo entrepreneurs, freelancers, founders, because you get to skip over this problem. And what you get to do is to work on who. And who is a much, much better question, because who has the power? You have the power to determine all the other outcomes. Case in point, Neistat just released a video about trash accumulating over the snow in New York. Now, I could not care less about the topic, but Casey cares and showed up with what? With craft. Obviously, is one of the first and most successful people to create short documentaries. Now we call them YouTubers, but what Casey does is create short, compact documentaries. They have a certain cinematic style, but then what do? They inject their personality in all of that, and they care, and they make us care. And so because Casey cared about trash in a city populated by billionaires, it made me care for a second. So this is the power of you. This is the power of vibe. This is the power of knowing who you are. And I want to help you in this exploration. So if you go on the first link, you will find an assessment. And if you're a founder, you will learn how you apply leverage and what is the blind spot of your leverage and where's the areas where in business you don't apply leverage. And please, next time you encounter a mentor, a coach, somebody who has more experience than you, drop the how-to questions, drop the what questions, and start asking the who questions. Thanks for watching.